over-the-barrel hard sodas.
Let's take a look at that up here on the podium. Very exciting looking bottle collection there. Let's bring out the man representing over-the-barrel hard sodas, Dennis Rigo, General Manager, Rhinelander Brewing Company, Minhouse Craft Brewery. Dennis.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Dennis Rigo, and I'm here to present the over-the-barrel hard sodas. They're produced in Monroe, Wisconsin, from scratch. I heard some discussion with earlier speakers about authenticity, and this is authentic. It's a very small brewery in Monroe, Wisconsin that produces the hard sodas. As you're probably all aware, the category of hard sodas exploded last year with root beers being the primary flavor. We wanted to get involved in that and leverage our expertise with sodas and alcohol. Our company has been involved with craft sodas since Prohibition, and we make some of the finest, we think, finest clear malt in the industry. We use a 4-step process that ends with filtration from some equipment we have from Holland. So initially, I see we've got samples out here for everybody, and kind of the thrust here is to create a product that you can't taste the alcohol in. It should taste exactly like a soda that you're used to. And so we've kind of randomly given you different flavors. We have a total of 5 flavors: grape, cream soda, root beer, blueberry, and black cherry. So I didn't have a way to disseminate who got what, so you each got a little bit of both. The product is 5.5% alcohol, and we make it with real cane sugar. That does a couple of things. We're able to, I think, get a cleaner tasting product with absolutely no aftertaste or no alcohol taste, rather than using the high fructose corn syrup. And it also gives, some folks are sensitive to the type of sugar that they take in. So from that perspective, there has been some kickback against high fructose corn syrup. So we went ahead and spent the extra money and formulated the sodas to use high fructose corn syrup. We are just getting into the market. Our first production run was mid-March, and we had an opportunity to sell in these products to a very large chain in the Southeast, and they ordered like a large quantity, several truckloads. And they went into the stores a couple weeks ago, and they're doing very well. I think they ran through 9,000 units, probably about 24 units per store in the first week. So we're getting more information on that. They haven't run an ad or anything. In the meantime, I went ahead and sampled these to my beer distributors across the country. And I got to tell you that the response was absolutely phenomenal. I've been in the business a long time, and I've never seen anything like this. We ran the rest of the packaging materials we had and completely ran out of product. But I started getting orders and orders and orders, and I think we're in, from our little operation in Wisconsin, we're in 13 states. I got 24 distributors on board, and there's probably 5 or 6 that I'm working with right now to get them in place. And it's simple as they taste the product and they absolutely love it. I would like to tell you we have another trick to it than that, but we don't. And I think we have a sustainable competitive advantage in this because we make our own clear malt, and I think that's the secret of this. There's a lot of flavored malt beverage products out there. I'm not going to let you guys be the judge, but I think we're going to be able to hold this market because our product is simply better. It tastes better than a lot of the competitors out there. With that being said, that I've got 13 states covered, that leaves what? 30, almost 40 open. So another advantage, I think, for this group in particular, a lot of the product that's out there now was developed by beer companies, and they're going through some of the major beer distribution networks. So on the spirits side, I think that would leave an opportunity for spirits distributors to get involved in this and maybe compete with some of those other major brands that are out there. I happen to be in some big beer houses and some small beer houses and a couple of small spirits houses. But in general, if I think of the national opportunity, I think there's a big opportunity out there for the spirits group to kind of go after their local beer guy with a product like this. I'd like to invite everybody to come down to Forum 5, our room right here in the building, and you can all sample these products along with our craft distillery products. We got a bunch of awards, a couple of double golds. We're pretty new at this, but we're pretty proud of that. So I think that's about it for my presentation. Again, we're down in Forum 5. Please come see us this afternoon. We'll be down there. And I'm ready for questions.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for that great pitch, and go Badgers. Badgers fan.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. So, because it is it is sugary. So right now, just a completely different market with the soda companies. Coca-Cola posted its largest decline in history for soda, and it is a declining category, which is sugar. And your product being so sugary, how many calories is in this product?
Oh, yeah, that was my question. That's our first question. Always, as a woman.
Great minds
how
think
many
alike.
calories are that's it?
In order for us to get the taste profile we're looking for, there is a lot of sugar in the product. And we can't get there with an artificial sweetener right now. We're kind of struggling with, we're almost totally natural with these things with our preservatives. We're still working on that, which we think would give us another leg up. We'll never get there with an artificial sweetener. So we're stuck, so to speak, with the sugar content. I guess I'd like to call this, it's a beverage for fun, but you're not going to be a calorie counter and get involved.
You see, our restaurants I think that's one of the first questions out of people's mouths in West Hollywood. And, is how many calories are in it. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a slightly different market, but carry on.
Absolutely. And one of the things is you need an elevator pitch that's going to be able to combat someone when you have a high calorie content in a product. Because that's, obesity is one of the biggest diseases that we have to fight in this country. So you have to make sure that whatever you do something that can talk about that or raise awareness to that because you are aware of it.
Exactly. Well, I'll work on the response to that as best as we can, I guess, to try to work around the calories and the sugar. Yes?
When I first saw the product, you had just the picture of the root beer, and I was like taken back on, well, you think you're going to take over Coney Island or your father's, and then when I saw the other flavors, I think that's a good job there. As far as with the calorie content, I'm not necessarily subscribing to that thing. I think we're kind of getting a little overwrung out over the fact that, God forbid, we should have an extra couple of calories in something. In the meantime, when you look at the IPAs, they're 12% alcohol, and they're not for the faint in terms of calories.
Well, if actually you're helping me with the pitch she's talking about, I need to compare it to other products that are in the marketplace.
But how many can you have, Sid? You can only have, how many of these can you drink in one sitting?
Well, if you're really thin, you could probably two, maybe
That's the only thing. You need to sell volume, correct?
Pardon?
How many calories are in each bottle?
Exactly.
I'll have to double check. I don't have the specs on me, but it's high. It's not low. I sent a note to our chemist, and he was going to get me that, but he didn't get it for me here. But I got a note back. He says they're high in calories.
Charlie Marinoff, how do you combat that? Charlie, how do you combat that then? You say high sugar, it's going to be a big red flag.
One, I think it's really smart to use a natural sugar. Use sugar as opposed to, because I think that is a real issue. Look, it was interesting. I heard the people from Mars Candy talk about candy, and they said, we are not a snack, we are a treat. And because you're allowed to treat yourself. Once in a while, you can drink calories, and it's a huge category. And if it's shrinking for a small company like this, there's so much room to grow. So even with those issues that are real issues, there are still enough people who are not calorie conscious that I think you can have a very successful business. I love the concept. I think when we look at businesses today, I think this next generation focuses on a few things. I think authenticity, we talked about it. I think they're really thoughtful. My generation wanted to know how you make it. These people want to know, where'd you get your inputs from? Are you paying fair wages? Are you a sustainable company? Are you doing the right things? Are you connected to the community? So I think developing that story, I think you have good pieces of it. I think those things are important. And I think it's a pretty new category. I don't think it's overcrowded. And I think you have a pretty good story. So I like where you're at.
Excellent. We are a brewery union, or union brewery, excuse me, so we can leverage that as well in the bill.
Social responsibility is a really important factor, to Charlie's point, of the millennials, and I know the previous speaker didn't really want to use that term, but they're looking for how are you impacting society and how are you giving back with your brand. So having a good corporate social responsibility story is important to the brand. One of the questions I had was about the coloring.
Yes.
What kind of feedback have you received about that color?
Interesting, because we especially went with the bright colors to be different. And a lot of the competitors out there are kind of a yellowish color on everything. But we also understood that the male consumer probably is worried about the blues. Okay?
Yeah, I'm worried about the blue.
I'm worried about the blue.
I'm
Scared the
worried-
hell out of me.
Yeah, me too.
It was delicious, but it scared me.
Well, if
smells
you'll
like
notice, it's in a
Yeah,
nice brown
I'm
bottle.
not feeling the
so
blue.
nobody knows it's
Right.
blue except you if you want it that way. So we kind of did both with it. In some cases, it's fun to have that fun color out there, but we also wanted to be able to,
That's right.
if you don't want the fun color, there's your...
Is there artificial coloring in it?
Right now, there's a little, it's not totally natural. We're working towards that. And I don't know if it's the color or the flavor, or
There's
both.
a load of
I
it.
think,
So
yeah.
you need to get this stuff down.
Yes, I should.
This is
have.
like
Yeah.
So I've got
important
a
ingredients to
And
it
if you
again.
could make it 100% natural coloring, then I think you take away some of the questions
Yes.
that we've had on this
Exactly.
panel.
And just so you know, we're working toward that right now.
And I don't think this is representative of blueberry.
Pardon?
I think this looks to me more like mouthwash. I'm not being, I'm saying I love this. I think this is fabulous, black cherry. But this looks too synthetic for a blueberry. I think the color should be slightly more kind of, like.
Kind of a lighter blue color?
No, like a blueberry. It should have mauve in it, and it should be, I think this looks too synthetic.
Okay.
But I think that's fabulous.
I think when you're out making a pitch, there's a few things you have to capture. Number one, who are you after? What category are you in, and who's the biggest competitor? Right now, in your short history, what's your number one selling flavor?
Root beer is still out selling, but what's really, really unique is it's almost a dead heat. Root beer is number one by a little bit, then cream soda, and that's just through our gift shop sales. We have a big gift shop at the brewery and the distillery, and that's the only retail we have right now. A month into it is that. But root beer is number one, cream soda is number two, and the other three are like a dead heat right now.
So do you see yourself as a single serving package, or do you
No.
see this as an ingredient for mixologists maybe? Is that something you're
I
looking
would
at,
say
or-
yes. Obviously, the off-premise is the big push.
Okay.
When we go to market, what we want to do is sampling. That we focus. I heard someone say advertising doesn't always work anymore, and that's kind of true. So when we go to market, we work with the individual distributor, and our whole goal there is to work with the distributor. And in some markets, we might do a consumer sampling if it's legal. In some markets, we might do a sales staff incentive or a retailer sampling incentive. But the whole key is to get this product sampled in accounts we go in. I think we'll focus off-premise first because the on-premise is so much more expensive to get to, quite honestly, up front. Again, depending on the market, with the distributor's help and guidance, we are a small company. We rely on our distributors to work with us as a team to come together with the marketing programs for each market. So,
Unless we have any more comments from the panelists, I want to thank Dennis Rigo for coming up, and great job.
thank you
Yeah,
for the
congratulations.
opportunity. Forum 5.